was actually a ballerina when I was really little, and gymnastics, all that type of stuff, which has paid off well, you know, flexibility and whatnot. I got into wrestling my freshman year of high school. It was a dare, sort of, more or less. Somebody said, oh, you should do that, and I went to the meeting, and everyone said, oh, you can't do that, you're a girl, and so I said, watch me, and then I sort of fell in love with it, and I wasn't on a really great road when I was 13, 14 anyway, so it was sort of a welcome excuse to get my life on the right path. You know, you don't have time to be bad and hanging out with the bad crowd when you have practice every day and when you have tournaments on the weekend. So, like you said, you know, I'm not the very best fighter. I wasn't the very best wrestler, but mentally, I don't think I think that's where my edge is. You know, I feel like wrestling has given me that. Motherhood has given me that. Wrestling, I can't say enough about the sport, the kind of person it makes you. I think I would have been a crappier person had I not wrestled. It makes you dig deep. You know, somebody asked me why you fight, and you just like getting punched in the face. I said, no, if there's something inside of you that's very deep inside you that does not come out until it absolutely has to. I'm going to be on the verge of that in the next 12 hours probably, because I've got like 8 pounds to lose. But you know, it's just something like primal, I guess, you know, and I learned that in wrestling, and that carried me through life. I have this one shirt that says wrestling is training for the rest of your life, and there's no doubt about it in my mind that it is, and I apply a lot of the things I learned in wrestling as a very young teenager when you know nothing to life. It's made me very strong mentally. I actually went to go watch Jose Vega fight in Sedalia, and there was one girl's bout on the card, and it was like a glorified cat fight, and it was like, oh, it was horrible. Like, the girl was on the other girl's back running around the cage, and I literally just, I have to look away because it was a travesty to be a female that night, you know, and that was it. I had done a little jiu-jitsu, a little judo, just because that competitive spirit in you is really hard to die. I hadn't competed in years and years, 6 years or something like that, so I was just dabbling and stuff, and then I saw that and I was like, that's it, I'm fighting. I don't care what I gotta do, I'm fighting, and I'm gonna turn this around, and I'm gonna, in this area, show that you can display female athleticism in a cage. You know, it doesn't have to be a cat fight, it doesn't have to be a brutal, yucky sport. You know, I can be an athlete, and I can hopefully inspire more girls to do the same. First, I went to go fight one time in Arkansas. My husband and I were going to have our very first fights each that same night. I got stood up, he fought and won in like a minute something. But that was the first time I cut weight in a long time. That was something else. But after that, I just really wanted to do it because you get so close, you cut all the weight, you prepare, and then, so I didn't know a whole lot about MMA. I didn't train at a real great place that was MMA per se. I didn't have a lot of, I didn't have coaching like I have here, you know. So the fight I ended up taking, I didn't even know I was fighting until like a week before, and I saw my name on a card. Well, what I thought was my name, they had it misspelled, and I called the number on there. I said, is that me? You know, and they were like, yeah, so-and-so from my gym said that you would probably be down, so we just put you on there. And I was like, okay, you know, if that girl said she will, then I'll do it, whatever. And she was 7-1 or 8-1 or something at the time, and I didn't really understand the concept of records or experience. You know, I'm like, oh great, so she's competed 8 times. I've competed hundreds of times. I'll be fine, you know. And she was, I think it was at like 120, and I weighed in at 115 with all my clothes on. And I'm like, it's 5 pounds. At least I get a fight, you know. And it's horrible. I lost. I lasted like 2 rounds, and the girl, her name was Barb Honchak. She went pro right after me, and now she's like top 3 in the world. She's also fighting on Invicta. So it was a great thing, you know, that ended up happening out of a bad situation, because she cornered me for my fight after that, and I was like, so nervous. I just didn't know what to do. And she's like, what do you have to fear? You know, like, you took a knee from me, and you took a couple great hooks from me, you know, you took all this damage from me, and who do you have to fear at 105? And I was like, oh, you're right. So I've been sort of fearless ever since. The more I fight, the more natural it feels. I used to get nervous a lot, like the first couple times I fought, just because it was so unknown to me. The whole getting hit part was like, whoa, what's going on? You know, that's not allowed. So now that I'm used to that, it feels just like endearing. You know, I have really great training partners here, and that pushed me really hard. So there's not much that that surprises me, I guess. In my last fight, I just had a baby 6 months ago. So
wow.
I fought in May, and I hadn't fought in like 14 months or something. So getting hit the first couple times, I literally was like, you know, and froze up. And it took me a while. A couple hits, 3 hits, I think. It took 3 good ones to get in the fight. I have babies, so obviously they're, you know, near and dear to me. Little babies, they do something to your heart. They make you soft. I feel like sometimes that's my weakness, because when you fight, there's just, you know, one of the girls I fought, she went to sleep. Like, I saw her eyes roll back, and my heart dropped. You know, I wasn't excited that I won. I wasn't anything like that. My heart dropped, because you can't take the mommy out of you. You just can't. You know, I'm always trying to take care of somebody. Like, one of the girls here calls me Mama Jessica, because I'm always trying to just take care of people. I don't know. I'm very loving. I have a big heart. I trust before I distrust, which I'm almost 30, and I feel like I should have learned that lesson by now. That doesn't always serve me well, say in the corporate world or what have you. But I get my feelings hurt a lot, because I get disappointed in people easily, because I just put my heart out on the line.
What is MMA to you?
I think it's one of the greatest sports there is, other than wrestling. Because it challenges you. It's not, I don't do it because I want to hurt anybody. I don't do it because I have anger, animosity in my heart. I don't do it for any of those reasons, for any of the reasons that I think people are like, ugh, UFC, you know, it's bloody, it's gross, it's whatever. I just now got my mom on board, fight number 9. So it's hard changing that concept, but I think somebody like me, I'm small, you know, I'm petite, I'm real girly, outside the cage, sometimes in the wrestling or the practice. So hopefully I can shift that image a little bit, and hopefully a lot of these girls can too, that it's pure athleticism. There's nothing, I wouldn't say it's harder than wrestling. There's just so many more facets than wrestling. I'm in the best shape of my life. You know, I had a baby 6 months ago. A lot of people say I'm crazy, but I wanted to do this to show moms and to show women, you know, even if you have a 10-year-old, whatever, you don't need to make excuses to not take care of yourself, to not be in shape. You know, you just do it. You just make it. Our baby, she's like a gym baby here. You know, everybody like, oh, if I'm in the cage, like somebody's holding her and loving on her. You just make it happen. You just do it. So that's what MMA is to me. It's not violent. It's not gross.